Today, historians no longer conceal the fact that Christopher Columbus was not the first person to discover America. How can he be credited with discovering a land that already had a rich culture and history with its indigenous people? When this Italian explorer reached America's shores, native people were already there, ready to welcome him. Therefore, the fabricated history claiming that Christopher Columbus discovered America does not hold true. So, if it wasn't Columbus, who truly discovered America? Fortunately, today, we can rely on historical records to determine who was the first to arrive in America. Welcome to a new episode of Black Culture Diary, a channel where we explore lesser-known and hidden aspects of Black history, culture, arts, and lost civilizations. We critically examine history to bring Black culture back to the forefront. In this episode, we will reveal how Africans discovered America before Columbus arrived. Let's dive in. Thank you. Until now, various groups have asserted their historical connections to the discovery of America. Since a strong historical record of the first discovery does not exist, people have attempted to provide their own versions of events. Interestingly, these accounts are also supported by evidence. Therefore, our task is to determine who or which group first reached America. However, it's essential to understand the various accounts people present. For instance, the Vikings point to their colonization of Iceland and Greenland over 1,000 years ago. Leif Erikson, a Viking, is believed to have encountered new lands during his journey to convert Greenland to Christianity. The Irish claim involves Saint Brendan, an Irish monk from the 6th century, who is said to have sailed to America in his coracle, a traditional boat, discovering distant lands thousands of kilometers away. The Welsh claim is associated with Madog ab Owain, who is believed to have landed in America in 1170. There is also the Scottish claim attributed to Henry Sinclair, the Earl of Orkney, who is said to have reached Westford, Massachusetts, in 1398. These stories of discovery often capture the popular imagination, but obscure the true beginning of the story of how Africans were forcibly brought to American soil. It is crucial to acknowledge that African history has been largely omitted from mainstream historical narratives. However, it is essential to examine the evidence and consider facts rather than dismiss the idea outright. Facts can change based on various factors, but evidence remains uncontradicted, uncontroverted, and irrefutable. This is where Africans' version of the discovery of America emerges, backed by strong evidence that is both striking and persuasive. Contrary to popular belief, there is evidence that Africans had connections to the Americas before Columbus. However, further exploration of this history is needed to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the intricate interactions between different cultures and peoples throughout history. It's vital to grasp that American history did not commence with slavery. If this were the case, it would mean that Africans came to America solely as slaves, captured from Africa. However, this incident must have occurred after America was already established, which rules out Africans' presence in America before its discovery. Therefore, it should be emphasized that American history did not begin with slavery. There is a growing body of evidence suggesting that Africans had been sailing across the Atlantic to the Americas long before Columbus, and even before other civilizations. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from an account by Christopher Columbus himself. In 1920, a renowned historian and linguist named Leo Wiener from Harvard University explained in his book, Africa and the Discovery of America, that Columbus had documented in his journal how Native Americans had affirmed the presence of black-skinned people. These dark-skinned individuals had arrived from the southeast in boats, engaging in trade and possessing gold-tipped spears. Columbus even sent samples of these spears back to Spain, where they were found to share similar properties with those being crafted in West African Guinea. While the eyewitness accounts of early European explorers offer valuable evidence of African presence in the New World before Columbus, they are not the sole evidence. By examining a world map, one can observe the nearly perfect fit between the west coast of Africa and the east coast of South America. The proximity of these two land masses is of significance, with the closest points of each continent being less than 3,000 kilometers apart, making Africa the closest inhabited area to the Americas. Additionally, the Cape Verde Islands off the coast of Africa could have served as a suitable restocking station for sailors, reducing the journey's distance to South America to about 2,500 kilometers. While it may seem improbable or far-fetched to imagine African explorers crossing the vast Atlantic in ships, it's crucial to acknowledge that ancient African boats, including dugout canoes, were entirely capable of such voyages. These boats did not require rudders or sails and could have crossed the ocean in a matter of weeks. Prevailing wind patterns and ocean currents blowing from Africa to South America played a significant role in making these voyages feasible. It's worth noting that these same winds and currents were later utilized by Europeans during the transatlantic slave trade to transport enslaved Africans. Africans were skilled shipbuilders, as evidenced by archaeological findings, including paintings derived from Nubian pottery dating back to 3000 BCE, depicting long-hulled boats, papyrus rafts, or dugout canoes. Another painting from Chad, dating back to 3500 BCE, illustrates a bird's-eye view of a Nile River boat, demonstrating the expertise of Africans in building seaworthy vessels capable of taking them to distant lands. This evidence challenges the traditional narrative and suggests that Africans might have explored and reached the Americas before Columbus. It's essential to delve deeper into this history and consider the complex interactions between different cultures and peoples over time. Africans from Guinea, for instance, expertly crafted dugout canoes from the sturdy garganton trees found in the Congo forest. Portuguese explorers like Captain Pacheco Pereira discovered these impressive canoes, some of which could carry up to 80 men. While some may doubt that Africans possessed the skills and resources to sail across the Atlantic, a 15th-century Portuguese painting depicting sailing canoes in the Congo River dispels such doubts. This challenges the notion that Africans couldn't have made it to the New World. Furthermore, the recent discovery of American narcotics in Egyptian mummies has astonished historians. Compounds like South American cocaine and nicotine found in these mummies suggest that transatlantic trade may have brought these substances to Africa potentially thousands of years before Columbus's arrival. Another compelling piece of evidence comes from the Olmecs, an ancient civilization predating others in the Americas. Archaeologists uncovered colossal stone heads in central Mexico with distinctly African features, such as broad noses, full lips, and Ethiopian-style braided hair. These statues are believed to represent priest-kings who governed vast territories in Mesoamerica during the Olmec period. Historian Floyd Hayes questions why these ancient Olmec artists would accurately depict African features if Africans were not present in the Americas before Columbus. It defies logic and artistic experience to suggest that they could portray such details of African physiognomy without ever having seen it before. Interestingly, despite this compelling evidence, European archaeologists in Mexico have offered various explanations for the Olmec statues, including giant babies, monkeys, and even aliens, anything but acknowledging their African origins. These pieces of evidence challenge the narrow narratives that have excluded Africans from early exploration and civilizations in the Americas. It's crucial to examine the historical record with an open mind and consider possibilities beyond conventional assumptions. Unfortunately, this information remains largely unknown to the general public, as alternative historical narratives have been suppressed for years. What are your thoughts? Why do historians glorify Christopher Columbus and attribute the discovery of America to him? Is it not logical to conclude that he wasn't the first to discover America? Could it be possible that many more discoveries originally belonged to Africans, but discrimination in the past led to fabrication in the historical record?